That's my level check done. Seems good.
That made a really satisfying line on the on Audacity.
Oh, it's quite nice, isn't it?
It is quite nice, yeah. Maybe we'll just do like an entire podcast of that.
That was a good plan.
Hello and welcome back to the How I Ripped Off Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. My name is Chip Thompson and I am choking to death, but I'm also joined by Mr. MC.
And I am choking him to death.
Yay!
Also, that would be me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm excited, MC, segue seamless, into getting into the one part 2. What happened last time?
Well,
Yes.
was that the one where Chip raised the one? Because it's been coming for so long, I've forgotten at what point he actually did the deed.
Oh, he did the deed.
Oh.
The one is here and is rampaging through a hospital. If you remember, it was
do.
knocking over cars. Yep. Getting into all sorts of mischief in a hospital where I think it's murdered and eaten everyone, but that's not that bad.
It's fine. Knocking over the cars is the main thing.
Exactly. So we had MC and the gang chasing it down in the hospital, and they found it in the, not the morgue, it was the mortuary, wasn't it, that was in the hospital at the time.
Yeah, that's
And
how they work.
Chip is in a interesting place, mental health wise.
Yeah.
He headbutted an old woman.
He did, but she was a bitch. She wasn't. She was trying to rescue her son or grandson or cat or something from the rubble of a buried house. Chip went to help her out, and then along the way that segued into headbutting her.
What a bitch.
Which is a situation we've all found ourselves in.
Yeah, fuck off, Nan. Jesus, I'm having issues here, all right?
Your son's buried.
I'm trying to update my live journal.
That was a good reference.
Thank you. I figure live journal is topical for this, considering when it was written. And I think that would have been the height of live journal's popularity.
Headbutting Nans.
Yes,
was
.com as it's now known.
Yeah.
All right, enough of this tomfoolery. Let's get into it. Let's see how many of the elderly Chip's going to headbutt as we get into the one, part 2. Previously on Tamora Gayson. Where's my new pet gone? Chip said to himself. I wanted to play with it. He exited the warehouse and started his search for the one.
What is it?
Shinno-kan asked. That was a nurse from the hospital. Apparently some giant blue monster is eating people. The old lady started to attack Chip, hitting him with her worn, wrinkled hands. I'm only trying to help, Chip protested. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Still, the woman pounded on Chip's sternum. She finally stopped when Chip headbutted her. MC flicked the light back towards the table with the body on it, just in time to see a huge hand whisk it away. Again, he moved the torch, this time focusing on the ceiling. There it was, the one. The old woman was still out cold. Chip felt her pulse. She was still alive. Good, okay, that's good. He hasn't caved her skull in or anything like that. That's nice. He put the toddler into her old arms and walked away.
Did he headbutt the toddler as well?
I guess we've skipped over the part where he found the grandson in the rubble there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, because I guess maybe at some point I went back and cut out the point where he headbutted a little boy.
Yeah.
And then put the toddler into her old arms. Her arms are so old, MC. This is why she deserved to get headbutted.
It's the first word I would use to describe an old person. Any part of an old person, just say old.
He was also going to be okay. A few cuts and bruises, but largely a healthy child.
And a big bruise on his head from something.
A big
Head-shaped
chip-faced
bruise.
mark on his skull. Chip did wonder what sort of future the kid would have. After all, he had raised a demon that was supposed to have a thirst for death.
I thought he meant the toddler had. No wonder he headbutted the toddler if he's been going around raising demons with a thirst for death.
Well, this is why Chip headbutted it, obviously.
Oh,
He's the good guy in all of
right,
this.
obviously.
Chip knew, however, that it would never get that far. He wanted to use the one for his own personal use, to get what he wanted, and that would be that. Even if it meant killing the demon he had spent so long raising? Wait, what is Chip's plan? Because
That's the question, isn't it?
he's gone evil.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've mentioned that. He's raised a demon, but
Yeah.
now he's all like, oh, I just wanted to help people. Oh, maybe I'll have to kill the demon.
I think, but with the whole helping people thing, that was in the previous one where he was sort of mentioning about in a very convoluted way about why he went evil.
My writing at 15, convoluted. How dare you?
So I think he was saying, I wanted to help people, but then the world made me evil. So,
He's a psycho. Right, okay.
and now he's talking about the demon, and yes, apparently he has ideas for it.
Maybe it's like a contingency plan, because he said about wanting to control it, so maybe he's like,
Yeah.
but if I can't, I'll kill it.
And what was the title it had? Like the demon that hell couldn't control?
Yes.
And he's like, well,
I'll take it to puppy school, it'll be fine.
no. What's that in your mouth? Put it down.
If the one kicks over any more cars, you just rub its face in it and it will learn not to do it again. He wanted to use the one for his own personal use, to get what he wanted, and that would be that. Even if it meant killing the demon he had spent so long raising. Although he wasn't quite sure how to do that. He imagined the usual hack and slash would do the trick.
What could go wrong? I'll just raise an apocalyptic demon that is feared of by the denizens of hell itself. And I'll kill it, because
I've got a stick.
Yeah.
I'll just sharpen it a little bit, it'll be fine. Chip, deep in thoughts about how little he actually knew about the one, started to whistle as he walked down the road, still following the broken houses and buildings. Do you think he's whistling like a really jaunty tune?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-day.
I don't know what I'm doing. A huge explosion interrupted Chip's thoughts. It came from town, and where the smoke was coming from, he guessed it was the hospital. And we know who's in the hospital, MC, don't we?
We do indeed.
I could be there in about 10 minutes. Chip thought to himself as his walk turned into a run. Again, I have this difficulty in kind of unpicking whether the writing is intentionally trying to make him a bit crazy or if it's just shit. It's probably both.
I think it might be.
I think it might be both. Yeah. The few seconds that were passing as MC stared up at the one seemed to last an age. He was at least 8 foot tall, with a head as big as a beach ball and arms that Arnold Schwarzenegger would have been jealous of. A head as big as a beach ball? Like is that the least intimidating way to write that?
I'm just picturing a round inflatable head on a really sort of buff dude.
I think that's it, yeah. To top it all off, his teeth were like rows of daggers and stained with blood. There we go, that's more like it.
Yeah.
In one of its tree-like arms, the one held the dead body it had picked up from the table. Oh yes, they're in a mortuary, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, so they are.
dead bodies everywhere. He glared down at the gang with his hellfire eyes and bit the body in half.
I suppose it's quite easy to do when you've got a head as big as a beach ball.
Maybe that's Chip's plan, he'll just deflate him.
He's just going to go along with a pin.
Or he'll do like a beach bully kind of thing, just like stamp on it and like kick sand in everyone's face. MC gulped. Mm-hmm. Even an experienced demon killer like him was in awe. He raised his sword and told the others to get out. But instead, Louise aimed the crossbow, Tifa whipped out her gun, and Jay stood with his hands up, curled in fists, challenging the one.
Oh, ballsy motherfuckers, aren't they?
They really are. What a crazy ragtag crew of demon killers they are. For some reason that made me... Did you ever play the old Simpsons arcade game?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
And it'd be like, Bart had like a skateboard, Lisa had a skipping rope, Marge had a Hoover because sexism, and Homer just used his fists. For some reason, it just reminds me of that. I can see like the character selection screen on all of these right now.
Tomorrow Gazing is an arcade game would be so good.
Oh my god, someone please make that.
Every now and then, Chip just turns evil and starts attacking the other characters.
Oh, I would play the shit out of that.
Yeah.
The blue demon spat the dead body he had been chewing on at the group, knocking them all over at once. That is an impressive spit.
I think the sense of scale is a bit off. Like, 8 foot tall is big, but it's not giant.
No. I think that's probably what I was going for, because I don't... Who knows anymore? I feel like...
That's very true.
Yeah, I may have just got to this point. It's like, I need to say what the one looks like. Beach ball, Schwarzenegger, blue. Yeah, that'll do. Before MC could get up, the one had leaped through the ceiling and up another floor.
Come on!
He yelled to the others. MC raced back into the corridor. Suddenly, just as the others caught up with him, MC stopped in his tracks and listened. What is it? Louise asked. MC continued to listen. He turned to the group.
Run.
Without questioning MC, the whole group tried to get out of the hospital as fast as they could. MZ took over the role of pushing Louise so Jay could get away faster. Oh yeah, Louise is in a wheelchair at the moment, isn't she?
She is.
Would it have been quicker to MZ use his ninja strike to pick her up and run with her, or is because I don't know, trying to push her in the wheelchair? Is that them? Because there's going to be stairs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean wheelchairs are expensive.
That's true.
Maybe they're concerned with budgeting.
They don't want to deplete the Japanese NHS. I feel like we're killing the drama a bit here.
JHS.
Just before they got outside the 2 double doors at the entrance of the hospital, a huge fireball blew them all at least 10 feet in the air and through the wall of the reception area.
Through the wall.
Through the wall.
Blew them through the wall. 10 feet.
10 feet.
In the air, not along. Yeah, that's vertical, not horizontal.
Yeah. I mean, Louise is going to need another wheelchair after this. MC made sure he covered Louise as they landed so she wouldn't get crushed under the falling debris. Luckily for him and everyone else, nothing collapsed over them. In fact, the whole group were quite lucky.
They just went through a wall.
10 feet in the air.
Blown through a wall by an explosion. What's the problem?
They've just lost a few limbs between them. How lucky. Louise and MC would have some bruises from the fall. Jay had banged his head, and now a river of claret ran from his forehead wound. And Tifa had some minor burns. Like a sunburn.
Anyone got some aloe vera, guys? It stings.
Tifa's so dumb, even fire doesn't burn her properly. Her body doesn't react to it the same way. Oh, I'm under the sun, I'm going to burn now. Nothing too serious, but the detective could still feel the heat on her arms. They all gathered outside of a now burning hospital.
What was that?
Jay asked behind a smoke-caused cough.
I'm not sure.
MC replied.
Obviously something the One can do.
He can spit fireballs, throw fireballs,
Apparently,
something.
And blow up hospitals?
Yeah.
Who knows?
He can breathe fire? A shocked Louise said. MC just shrugged his shoulders and said,
I think he can fly too. What makes you think that?
Tifa wondered. MC pointed up to the large blue demon that was soaring in the sky above Tokyo. Luckily, for them at least, it was going away from the hospital. They've got all the luck at the moment, haven't they? Everything's just going their way, all swimmingly.
I feel like the One is overpowered though.
Let's just have a little check in. Okay, so the One. Demon hell can control. He's blue. He's big. He's got a beach ball head.
Yeah.
He's 8 foot tall. He can spit fireballs.
Possibly.
And he can fly.
Yeah, I think that I'm okay with everything except the beach ball head. That is just the unreasonable power.
Luckily for them, at least, it was going away from the hospital.
Right, guys, listen up.
MC tried to regroup and rally the troops.
We've got to go after this thing. It's already killed dozens of people, maybe hundreds. We can't let it go on.
Then what are we waiting for? Louise asked. She was now being held up by Jay after her wheelchair had been flame-grilled.
So the wheelchair didn't survive. The thing made of metal got destroyed. But the human beings got a bit of an ouchie.
And it was only Tifa that got burnt as well. Everyone else got a bruise and a slightly cut head. Everyone climbed into MC's DeSoto and sped away, trying to keep up with the One. Nice to see the DeSoto making a bit of a return.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've mentioned that, but
Yeah.
hopefully the One doesn't
Oh,
turn
he
it
was
over.
worried. Oh no.
Oh my god. There goes the element of surprise, Chip said to himself as he watched MC and the others drive away in his car. They now knew that the One was here, and from the looks of the burning hospital, they had encountered it. And lived to tell the tale, Chip thought. He was angry now, but tried to remain calm. He took his anger out on a car window, breaking it with one punch.
Smash! I am calm!
He's so hard and tough, isn't he? Oh, God. I think it was a car that the One had already flipped over. Oh. He reached up and pulled the sunscreen down, and a set of keys dropped out. That's from Terminator 2, I do believe. Yeah. Chip started the ignition on the car, and it revved up. He started to pull away in the Mini Corsa, trying to stay in viewing distance of the One, but avoiding detection from MC as well.
Well, there's minis in Japan.
Obviously, I got a sponsorship from Mini, and that's why I had to include it.
Fair
Product
enough.
placement.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it's part of the business.
He's driving on. Wow, this handles so well.
Sporty, comfortable. Just what an evil man needs. Also, I like to think that in the contract, Minnie were like, yeah, you can smash the window, but can we not have it flipped over by the one? Is that okay?
Like, maybe he could try, and then he stops, and he's like, the craftsmanship of this is just too good for me to destroy it.
The one recommends the Mini Corsa. He swung the Mini round the corner, and without warning, a man stepped out in front of him. At the speed he was going, Chip couldn't stop in time. The man went sailing over the bonnet of the Mini and landed hard on the concrete road. But he's dead, isn't he? We all know how durable Minis are.
But, there are a lot of safety features built into the new Mini, so Chip is absolutely fine. Not even a scratch.
And luckily, insurance on the Mini, it's really cheap, so it's not going to cost him much. Chip jumped out of the car and went to see if he was okay. Already, the Japanese man, who was wearing a brand new suit and was probably a big player in Tokyo's business world, already had blood coming out of his ears, nose, and mouth.
Well, if he was really that big a player, he'd be driving a Mini and would have been fine, because vehicle-to-vehicle collisions are not a thing for a Mini. They won't even dent the bonnet. It's fine. No,
they've got auto technology to avoid each other.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But this, for some reason, brand new suited big player in Tokyo's business world man is dead, MC.
Oh, no.
I'm really glad I put all those details in for a character that was on screen for exactly 3 seconds and was played by an extra. He tried to talk to Chip, but he was dying and unable to mutter any words. Tears welled up in the ninja's eyes. Oh, I'm sorry, he said faintly. I never wanted this. I just wanted out.
I tried to get out, but after I came back to the people I was trying to get away from of my own accord, and then raised a fucking hell demon and tried to kill a bunch of people, it's not my fault. Why did all these things happen to me?
Here, take my Mini. That will make everything better. I don't think these attempts at trying to garner sympathy for Chip are working particularly well, MC.
No.
Let's remember all of this. We should make a note of all the bad things Chip has done.
And also, let's see how this the regret in Chip plays with the next action he takes.
He leaned over the man and pulled his head up. Chip hit him in the face, not just once, but repeatedly, until the man was limp. No, that's okay, because... like when you hit a deer and it's in pain...
And you beat it to death with a stick.
Exactly. You've got to pull it out of its misery.
Slowly.
By causing it more pain.
Try to, make it last.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're alive for longer.
You've got to distract it from the pain of being hit by a Mini Corsa by the pain of being punched in the face while you're dying on the road.
It's like, humanely slaughtered meat. They just punch the cows to death.
Do you think Chip got like a nail gun or something and just put it out to his head like... But it's okay, Chip just wanted out.
Okay. Oh, fair enough then.
Chip looked at his now blood-stained hands. The build-up of tears had stopped, and he looked more focused. Oh good, he's back on track. He just needed a little power murder, and now he's fine again. Without saying another word, he walked slowly back to the Mini and started driving again, whistling the theme tune from the Italian Job as he did.
So, accidentally runs a man over, feels deep remorse, beats him to death, whistles the Italian Job.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Well,
all right. I feel a lot of sympathy for Chip. He's
Me
a real...
too. He likes the Italian Job. No one that likes the Italian Job can be a bad person. What would Michael Caine say? What with all the strange events happening over town, the normally busy Tokyo roads were very quiet. MC was doing about 130 miles per hour, and that was because he didn't want to lose sight of the one.
Well, we've already established MC is quite comfortable driving 130 miles an hour.
But in the busy city centre.
Well, he's not trying to map read, trying to navigate through Japan with a map of ancient China. So I think it evens out,
Well, maybe he knows Chip is after him in a Mini Corsa, which we know
true.
can go very fast and is very easy to control, so that might be tough. Also, the one can fly really fucking fast as well. Louise sat in the front with him, with Tifa and Jay in the back. He's a bit low, isn't he? Louise noticed.
Maybe it's seen us. Either that, or it's found another playhouse to destroy.
Tifa unwound the back window and leaned out. Is she going to, yell at it? Pull over! This is the police!
I think... You're on Over an arrest?
Well, that makes MC's next line make a lot more sense.
Yeah. What are you doing?
MC quizzed her. She came back in and replied,
I think I can get a shot in.
MC tried to keep the car steady enough for her to fire her gun. She took careful aim, and when the one's head, his beach ball head, was in line with her eye and gun barrel, she fired.
She's trying to pop the beach ball.
She is, yeah. The bullets flew off into the distance and disappeared from viewing eyes.
When you shoot a bullet, you can see it for a bit.
I mean, that pistol's got some range on it, hasn't it? Like, everyone watched the one. A few moments later, and it seemed to wince slightly. It changed direction, coming into land in the distance. Imagine if that's where season 2 ended. Tifa shot it in the head from miles away on the ground, and it just died, and that was it. And then Chip just rejoined the gang, was like, "Oh, well done, Tifa. That was my plan all along. I just wanted out. Hey, who wants a new mini?"
Like, well, we were never going to forgive you for the unforgivable crimes you committed against humanity. But did you say a mini? Did I get it? Don't be stupid.
Jay replied.
That's a difficult thing for Tifa to do.
And, I mean, if it's Jay saying that to you as well.
Oh, ouch. Don't be stupid.
Jay replied.
This thing came from hell. I don't think a couple of bullets are going to kill it.
I mean, he makes a really good point.
It does.
Yeah.
As ever, Jay is the best character in there.
Apart from when he's, trying to get sexual favours from
one too.
the prostitute who will not be named for legal reasons. Shut up, Jay! Louise snapped. Tifa was only trying to help, which is more than you've done today. I mean, has Jay tried to help today? I feel like he's tried. He got a wheelchair for her, for cripe's sake.
He did.
Yeah.
Very flammable one.
Jay commenced in shouting back at Louise, and before long, they were knee-deep in a full, blazing row. Eventually, MC calmed it down.
Guys, if you're going to do this, do it later. There's more important things happening at the moment.
For now, Louise and Jay fell silent. Good leadership, MC.
Thank
I think,
you.
yeah. Oh, now you're taking ownership of this character. Okay, I see.
I mean, some of it is based on me.
MC pulled the car into the docks of Tokyo, the place the one seemed to have landed.
Is there an abandoned warehouse?
Oh, probably, yes. Everyone waited for a brief moment, waiting to see if anything was wrong in the seemingly quiet docks. Suddenly, hundreds of people came running out of a massive warehouse to the right of the car.
Not abandoned.
I mean, is it abandoned now that they've all come running out?
Oh, that's true.
I think that's how it works. As soon as someone leaves a warehouse empty, it's abandoned and you can get squatters' rights in there. With all the commotion, MC couldn't drive through them. Chip wouldn't have that problem. So the gang exited the car, all wielding their respective weapons. Even Jay, who had found a tyre iron in the boot. It's a pretty good weapon. Mm-hmm. That's definitely going to take down the beast from hell. MC looked back at his 2 friends and girlfriend. He would always do his very best to protect them, but he couldn't be there all the time. And if this was the day he lost one, or even all of them to battle, then he wanted one last look at them.
Let's roll.
He said enthusiastically,
Yay, some of you might die.
I might have seen you for the last time.
I'm gonna nick all your stuff when you're dead.
All around the warehouse were enormous containers, filled with all kinds of things. There was even some hanging from the roofs. From the roofs? How many roofs does this warehouse have, MC?
They've got a bunch stacked on top of each other.
Oh, it's a roofs warehouse.
They're sick of people jumping through the window in the roof all the time and beating up criminals, so they're like, just fuck it, just put on 10 roofs.
There was even some hanging from the roofs, which were just about to be loaded onto a ship. As they got inside, they saw the one. He was once again feeding, only this time he swallowed his meal instead of spitting it out. MC attacked first, lunging out with his sword, going for the one's chest and stomach. It was a logical choice, seeing as they were the largest parts of the demon's body, and he couldn't reach the one's head. Is he fat-shaming the one? It's like, come on, fatty, I'm going to stab you in your fat stomach. But the hell beast just leaned his shoulder in to take the blow, then swung round with his other arm to send MC flying into one of the containers. Once again, Tifa fired her guns. The bullets flew into the head and chest of the one. He growled. But it didn't seem to cause him any great pain. I think they've just pissed it off more than anything else.
So once again, Tifa fired her guns. Plural. I'm just imagining her John wooing it now.
Oh, nice. That is the coolest Tifa has ever been and ever will be.
One of the guns is just pointing sideways. The other one's pointing backwards.
One's at her own head. Yeah.
Neither of them are loaded. Because she threw all the bullets away because they went off.
Maybe she's just got her fingers in like gun shapes.
Okay.
And she's going
Bang,
pew,
bang,
pew,
bang,
pew,
bang,
pew.
bang. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, bang, bang.
Very soon, the gun, just one now, ran out of bullets and Tifa had to reload. Meanwhile, Jay headed for the demon, weapon held high.
Oh, bless him.
Louise had crept around the back of some of the containers. Before Jay had even got within a 5 foot of it, the one scooped Jay up in one hand. By this time, Tifa had reloaded, and she was also charging the one, firing as she came forwards.
Why?
I mean, they've got to do something, right?
Why run towards it, though?
Well, I mean, obviously, it's not like her pistols have got amazing range that they can shoot it in the sky or anything. Again, the one took the bullets in its body like they were flies. Then Tifa's gun emptied again. She was defenseless and was also picked up. Yeah, fair point to what you just raised.
Yeah. It's like, in King Kong when all the planes fly towards it?
Yes. Yeah,
That.
exactly. Tifa's a plane. The one snarled with his huge mouth. Saliva ran through the rows and rows of teeth, and his dark red eyes flicked back forwards between Jay and Tifa. Flicked back forwards? They flicked back forwards? It was like one's going in the back of his head and the other one's like popping out, or... It was trying to decide who to eat first. Before it could make up its mind, MC attacked from behind, swinging his sword and hitting the one's back. The blue demon threw Tifa and Jay away. They hit the floor hard. It turned its attention to MC.
Come on, you overgrown blue type thing.
In keeping with MC's general wit through the show, I feel.
Pretty much. I think that's one of his best.
This wasn't the time for cool phrases, MC realised. Not that he could ever come up with them, no. He swung, hard and fast, twice at the one, and both times it blocked the attempts. Then it threw, spelt incorrectly, a punch of its own, but MC ducked and ended up behind it again. MC threw, this time spelt correctly, a short, sharp kick to the one's knee, expecting it to fall to its knees. It didn't.
I mean, if all the bullets didn't do anything, then maybe a kick isn't gonna...
But that's quite a sensitive part, I mean, we can all stand up to bullets, MC, but if someone
Yeah,
kicks you in the
very
back of the knee,
true.
you're going to go down. So MC tried offense again, this time leaping onto its back.
It never works for Xander and Buffy.
No, he did it at all. The one struggled, trying to get MC off. It couldn't quite reach, and MC knew this was his time to strike. He raised the sword he still held above his head and drove it down, aiming for the one's neck. The sword snapped in two as it hit the neck of the hell beast. His favourite sword.
I know.
Oh no.
It's my favourite character.
Quick, play the tribute song for MC's favourite sword. MC, shocked, watched his favourite sword fall to the ground.
No. I mean, he was completely prepared for his friends or his girlfriend to die, but he didn't have a final look at his favourite sword.
No, he's going to forget what it looked like. It's going to fade away into nothingness.
It was pointy.
Is that what they called it? The sword snapped in two as it hit the neck of the hell beast. MC, shocked, watched his favourite sword fall to the ground. MC slid off the demon's back, but as soon as he touched the ground, the one swung around, catching MC with a massive blow. The sheer force of it sent MC flying high into the air and out of the warehouse's glass window.
All through all the roofs. Every single one.
I mean, that's got to be higher than 10 feet, right? He's not having a good day, MC, is he? He's just all over the place. But everybody just get him like a boo-boo. The one looked around for more people. No, it doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't.
The one looked around more people. Definitely missing a word in that sentence. Then it felt another thing hit its back. It turned and saw Louise standing about 12 feet away, crossbow in hand. Oh no.
Oh, they're a goer, aren't they?
She also couldn't believe the arrow had just bounced straight off the one's skin. I mean, she just saw a sword break off it, so...
Yeah.
I feel like firing that arrow was
bullets not really do much either.
Yeah. Bless her for having a go.
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't the smartest thing to do at that time, though.
No.
Before it got any closer to her, 5 containers that were suspended from the roof fell onto the one, crushing it.
I actually thought earlier that was what Louise was doing when she was flanking it. I thought she was going to save the day.
Oh, okay.
But no.
More shock for Louise, and this was again double when Chip jumped down from on top of the containers. He looked at the one who was struggling with the tons and tons of weight over him. Chip's not that fat, Jesus. Then Chip said some kind of Latin, and the one disappeared from the warehouse, and their containers crashed to the ground.
Oh, wow. So he did have a plan, which was to say some kind of Latin.
Say some kind of Latin.
Yes, he must have done... You know what it was? He was driving a Mini Corsa, and he looked in the glove box, and it had a How to Banish a Demon book, which is included free with every new Mini Corsa that you buy.
Some kind of Latin. I mean, I've Googled Latin before. I could have Googled how to make the one disappear in Latin. He turned his attentions to Louise. She frantically tried to reload the crossbow, but Chip's ninja speed got him in front of her before she could. He yanked the weapon away from Louise, and she lost her balance. Chip looked down at Louise and gave her a faint smile.
You know, have you considered buying a new Mini Corsa? They're amazing.
See you soon, he whispered. Chip left. And that's the end of the one, part 2.
How the fuck is that Chip's plan? Okay, I'm going to summon a demon to smash up a hospital and then beat up the guys a bit, but then I'm going to make him disappear.
Even though he said he didn't have a plan, but that turned into his plan because he said something in Latin. Is that it? Is the one done? Is he gone? Has he been sent back to hell because Chip...
Oh, that's the point. Yeah, maybe he's imprisoned it or something.
Yeah, because I thought the Latin he was going to utter was going to be like a spell to control it or something. Yeah. But then it just disappeared. And if that's it, we spent the whole of season 2 building up to Chip being evil, Chip having this master plan to raise the one for whatever reason that he didn't seem to understand. And now he's just like, lol, bye. Okay.
Yeah, there must be something else. Surely there'll be something else.
Like, he hasn't just raised it. No, because he was like... I don't think this plan is very thought out, MC. That's just what I'm going to say. And I don't mean by this Chip, I mean this Chip right here sitting next to you who wrote this like 17 years ago.
Right.
I feel like the motive was kind of lost along the way.
Yeah.
Unless, there's still a few episodes left, so maybe it's just suddenly all going to come together.
I'm not... It kind of feels like the first series of Lost, where you're sort of really into it, and then by the end you're like, no, they've got no fucking clue. They're just making shit up.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
So in a way, you preempted Lost. And I would say you're an inspiration for Lost, if anything.
Are you saying I'm responsible for Lost?
Oh, sorry, no, I didn't mean it like that.
Because that's harsh, MC. That's really harsh. Right. And I was enjoying that because the one was kicking all sorts of ass. He was invulnerable, and yeah, and MC's favourite sword broke, and Louise couldn't get it. Bullets didn't stop it, and then Chip just dropped some containers, utters some Latin, and
some kind of Latin.
And then he's just all like, I'll see you soon. My master plan is coming to fruition now. I don't know if he has one, MC.
I don't think he has.
Hey, should we look up the title of the next episode? Maybe that will give us a clue.
Maybe.
As to what's going to happen. The next episode, MC, is called Dead End, which sheds no light on this situation as it currently is.
It's not called Chip's Secret Plan, or Everything Makes Sense Now, or...
Oh, God. I was kind of in that... I was quite into that episode until it ended, and I was like, oh, that was shit, wasn't it? That was real. This is how we felt at the end of the last episode of Game of Thrones, MC.
Right.
Bitterly disappointed.
Right.
Hey, just to swerve away slightly. So, one thing I like to do is I like to look at the stats, MC. I like to look at the stats of how the podcast is doing in terms of listenership and where people are listening and that sort of thing. And we have some interesting places that listen to us. We have places, I don't know if you've heard of these places, MC, but somewhere called Germany, Sweden, Israel, Manchester,
Never heard of it. What
And-
country is that in?
I think they're all in America because also some people in America listen to us as well.
Okay.
But it's really cool to see that the podcast is getting that kind of reach.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of variation and stuff like that. And what I would like to say is that if you're listening to one of those weird flung places like Germany,
That's the kind of sensitivity you've come to expect from us.
I mean, they're going to stop listening right now. But get in touch, reach out to us. Like, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter page. You know, just come and say hello and let us know how you discovered the podcast and what your thoughts are on the podcast as well.
We would
because,
definitely be curious to hear that.
yeah, why are you listening? This was some shit I wrote 17 years ago as a teenager who was desperately alone and bad at writing. So, you know, what are you getting out of this? But no, seriously, come get in touch. Come let us know how you found the podcast. That'd be really interesting.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
it could tie into some plans that I have for season 3, MC.
Ooh.
Yes, but more about that at a later date.
You mean Chip has an actual plan?
No, I'm just going to say some sort of Latin. And tune in next week, MC. We are so close to the end of our season 2.
Oh my days, we
and
are.
I'm much less excited about it now.
I'm just hoping for some sort of resolution. And I'm not even optimistic about that.
If it ended on a Chip headbutting the old lady, that would have been much better.
That would have been amazing.
That would have been way better. If he'd headbutted the one,
Yeah.
that would have been much better as
Yeah,
well.
it would.
Yeah. Hey, MC.
Hi, Chip.
Did you know that there are multiple ways you can now support the How I Ripped Off Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast?
Really? Why didn't you tell me all about them?
I shall, MC. First of all, you can go to our Facebook page, which is How I Ripped Off Podcast. I couldn't put Buffy in that because it wouldn't allow me for some reason. I
Because
don't
of
know why.
copyright.
Yay! Also, MC, we are on Twitter. We
Really?
are at How I Ripped Off, and I didn't have room to put Buffy in that, so that's why it's just called that. Finally, do you know what else you can do, MC?
Tell me more.
You can come leave us a rating and review on iTunes, because that really helps the podcast and means we get seen higher in the rankings.
And finally we'll become rich and famous and be able to do a live action version of the... No, we won't.
No, that'll never happen. But yes, come and support us, come and say hello, we would really love that. That'd do.